Good evening, crafting friends. This is Dorene Decibus from It Begins with Ink and Paper, and welcome to the final day of the 12 days of Halloween. I'm so happy that you are joining me for this last day, and I think you'll be happy too when you see what we're going to be making. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to showing you this home decor item that we are going to be making today. So I have a lot of things out on my desk, and I want to share with you what I have. I have done some pre-work on this. There's a lot going on with this wreath, so I want to make sure we have time tonight to put it all together. So I have here about a 9.5-inch just cardboard wreath that I have painted both sides, made sure I painted the edges and the inside edges in just a folk art matte. It's a wrought iron black that I found at Michael's. So I just painted it. I could have used my black ink pad and just distressed it and added black ink, but I thought that would just take too much of my ink. So I decided, because cardboard is pretty absorbent, so I decided to just paint it and thought that would be the easiest way to get it colored in, because I don't want the color of the cardboard to be seen through the wreath. So I'm going to put that aside for right now and show you what we need for materials. And then I am going to start assembling this and show you what we're going to be doing. So you are going to need 9 strips of 1 inch by 3.5 inch designer series paper. So this wreath could be made with anything. I am using the Them Bones designer series paper. So that's where I'm coming from. And on this designer series paper, you are going to want to, on one end of the paper, cut a banner. So just that little V. The banner's going to have the V, the banner edge up at the top. So I'm going to put that just down. That's all you have to do with it. But you will need to have 9 pieces. I am using these 2 designs. So if you can see that, it's the design with the bats on it and the design with the plaid. So that's what we're using for that. And then the other thing you're going to need to die cut, you're going to need 9 of the large gravestone and 9 of the small gravestones. So this is all coming from Them Bones Suite. So Bag of Bones. So the Bag of Bones stamp set I'm using, and the Bag of Bones dies along with Them Bones designer series paper. And what you're going to do on these gravestones, got a little extra ink here. Let me just wipe that off quickly. I saw it the other day and meant to do this because I really don't want to get ink on my hands and ruin this project. So there we go with that. And so like I said, you need 9 of each, and then I'm just going to take a sponge dauber and I'm going to put it in some of the ink, and I'm just going to burnish the edges. This is going to make our gravestones look aged. I don't know if you can see it. There's some really nice embossing on the gravestones, and on, I'll show you the other one too, on both of them. So that makes it really nice when you put these together, that you have some of that embossing that's done right when you go to cut it out, and it's going to make it look like it's engraved, which you'd see in a cemetery. I'm going to do the same thing on the small one, and this one's cut out of gray granite. So the large one is cut out of basic gray, and I'm using the basic gray ink to age it, and the small ones are cut out of the gray granite. Okay, so that's all done. I think I want to just get a little more there. Okay, So now that's done, so I can put this ink pad to the side and hopefully not get any more of that ink on me. I took this with me over the weekend somewhere and did not have it laying flat, so that's what happened. Okay, so you're going to cut 9 of these and 9 of these, and then excuse me, burnish them with the basic gray. I am going to do some stamping on this one. I've stamped on some of them. I've stamped Bonjour. I've stamped the Boo to You and Eat, Shriek, and Be Scary. And I'm going to do another one with Eat, Shriek, and Be Scary. So I'm going to do that here. Just ink that up. And then I'm going to stamp that right on my smaller tombstone. There we go. We'll get that out of the way. All right. So next, I'm going to put this together by adding dimensionals on the back of the gray granite, the smaller tombstone. And I've done this on the other 8 that I die cut and have them ready to go to put together our wreath. So let's move those dimensionals out of the way. And then I am going to be attaching these pieces with tear and tape. I want a really good adhesive because I want this to last more than 1 year. Now, this is going to be displayed inside because it's just paper, so it's not going to be appropriate to put these outside where they can get wet or in the sun. Anytime you make a paper home decor item, you don't want it to be directly in the sun because the paper, the ink, all of that will fade. So I'm just adding the tear and tape to first the piece of designer series, that paper that I cut. So that's all set. And then I'm going to add it to the back of this. I'm only putting enough on to cover so this can sit on the wreath base on that piece of cardboard die cut. Now I got this idea by taking a stamp camp. I participated in a stamp camp with another demonstrator. Her name is Michelle Litweiler. And this was one of the projects. Now, I don't think this was an original project to her because she mentioned she gave credit to another person, Nat Eastop. So I think this project has kind of jumped around and lots of people taking credit for it. Okay, so now I have all my gravestones ready. So then the next thing is I needed to cut out 9 different skeletons, 2 cats, and 2 dogs. And I'm going to need to put dimensionals on the back of these. So I've got my cats and dogs already, but I'm going to put my dimensionals on the back of our skeleton here. And I'm using a combination of the regular size dimensionals and the mini dimensionals. So I'm going to put one on each hand, and then I've cut some on the side here in just little tiny strips. So I'm going to put one of the strips on one of the femurs and the other strip on the other femur. I'm going to leave my feet without anything on them because I want to be able to position them as we go. So that gives us the chipboard wreath, 9 skeletons. Okay, the only other thing that I have, I just didn't put them out so I wouldn't lose them all. I just cut a bunch of bats. I think I only need 6, but I wanted a variety of different sizes. And then this is the Boo from the other Halloween set that's in our mini catalog. I think it's called Tricks and Treats. Let me see if I've got it written down. I don't think I wrote it down. Oh, no, yeah, Tricks and Treats dies. So that's from the Tricks or Treats die. Okay, so we've got all of this, and now we can start putting this together. Now, before I adhere everything, I am going to lay this out, and I can add, I'm going to add my skeletons and all of that later. I'm just going to look at the paper and the tombstones, and we're going to have to start somewhere. So I am going to take this and put it right up at the top of the wreath. So I'm just going to take off my backs to my tear and tape. And I'm only going to adhere this, and then I'm going to lay everything out, and then I will come back and grab everything up. I knew that if I was cutting everything and putting everything together tonight, it would just take too long. So that's why I'm doing it this way. So I'm going to put this right here. So you can see that it's going to be attached. I've got the back is black, and we're going to see some of this black through it. My goal is going to be to put the other one that says Eat, Shriek, and Be Scary completely opposite of it. So I'm going to set that one aside. So then what's going to happen is I'm just going to start alternating. So I want to just give it enough room right now. I might have to move these closer, and that's okay. So I'm just going to be putting my paper and these all around. So I'm alternating the paper, and I just want you to be able to see as much of the wreath as you can in the camera. And then, let's see, that's going to be Boo. Then I want another one here. Then another piece of paper. And then it's going to be my other Eat, Shriek, and Be Scary at this end. And then another piece of paper. And put our next one, another piece of paper. Our next one, another piece of paper, and then a next one, and we're going to need to fit one more. So I'm going to move these closer a little bit. That's why I didn't glue anything down, because I want to make sure everything is going to fit nicely on our wreath. So this is going to go here, and then let's see, we've got this here. Let me just move these now. I changed the order of one, and now I have to just move these around and separate these. Okay, there we go. So now I can start gluing things down. They're not on perfectly right now, but I will make it nice and perfect as we go along. So the next piece will be, that's going to go on, will be a piece of designer series paper. This is such a fun project. I usually, when I make home decor items, I usually go with samplers. I love doing 12 by 12 samplers, 8 by 8 samplers, and I often make those and give them away as gifts. So I make a lot of them at Christmas time, sometimes in the spring, just to get some nice stamped images in my house. So it's a really nice thing to work on as you're going along. So I'm not going to press these down terribly hard. I want to just leave some wiggle room in case I need to make some, changes at the end. Get that little piece of adhesive off. Now, this is something that you would be able to keep year to year as long as I'm going to hang this on the inside of my door. So it won't be on the outside of my door, but it will be in where people can see it when they come in. So I think that will be, a great little, surprise when you open the door and come in and then close it. You'll see this wreath. Since it won't be in any sunlight, as long as at the end of Halloween that I wrap it in some tissue and put it in a flat box that I can store it in, then this will last for several years as long as you're careful with it. So it's surprising how long different paper crafts can make it through even ornaments and all of that. So now, while I'm just doing this, I want to talk about some upcoming events that are going to be happening. So I have one more week of Simply Stamping Sunday with using the paper pumpkin, the pumpkin patch stamp set. And that is this Sunday at 7 o'clock. Of course, I'm going to continue having my Fun Fold Fridays. I've got a really fun fold this Friday that's going to use the Winter Owl set. I just love that set. And so I'm going to make a really fun fold with it. And I am also, come November 7th, going to start a this 1 month kind of series that's going to have to do with Christmas, and it's going to be called Christmas Made Easy. So I'm going to be showing you a whole lot of stuff, projects that will be quick and easy Christmas cards, making gift tags, just a whole bunch of things that most people need for Christmas, and some people might want to make, but it might seem really overwhelming. And so I'm going to show you some ways to take the overwhelming out and put the easy in. So that will be starting on November 7th. It will be happening on Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock. I'm going to go an hour early than doing 8 o'clock. I think that would be just better all around. So 7 o'clock on Tuesday nights. And then come in December, I am going to have another 12 days, but this time it will be the 12 days of Halloween. And it's 12 days of Halloween. This has been the 12 days of Halloween. It's going to be the 12 days of Christmas. And again, I'm going to show you 12 Christmas projects and ways, some cute stocking stuffers, some, of course, Christmas cards, last minute Christmas cards, some home decor items. I will probably show you a sampler at that time, and just some fun things, some last minute gifts, some Christmas ornaments, you name it. I have a lot of things that I am going to share with you come December. So be on the lookout for all of those events. I think you will really enjoy them. So at least I hope you will. So that is what's coming up here on my Facebook, and it will also be on my YouTube channel. So, and just a quick reminder, make sure you say hello if you're joining me on the live and the replay. I've had lots of people join me for this 12 days of Halloween, and I thank you for that. Whether you watched it on the replay or the live, I've had a lot of fun putting this together, and I've been working on it for well over a month, and I've just had a really good time getting this all together for you. So thank you for joining me and being part of this. Okay, we're getting there. I am getting down. I have 3 more pieces of paper and 2 more tombstones, and then we're going to start decorating this. I'll show you what it looks like after I've pressed everything in place. You want to use on something like that, or on something like this, a real sturdy adhesive, and that is why I am using the tear-in tape, because it is a real sturdy adhesive, and you don't want to skimp on adhesive, especially when you're doing something like a home decor item. You want it to be able to last, and so that is just an important thing to think about. Okay, we're getting there. 1 more piece, well, 2 more pieces of designer series banners, and then 1 more of our tombstones. So, like I said, I did paint this black because I knew that part of the wreath was going to show through, and black is certainly a Halloween color, and certainly black is a color I would be thinking of if I was walking around a graveyard at night. So that's why I came up with this. We came up with the 3.5 inch banners because the large cemetery stone is about 3.5 inches. So I wanted it to be about the same height as it went around. You could definitely adapt this to bigger or smaller wreaths and just change the number that you are, the number of gravestones and banners you're putting around. Now for this last one, because I've been sticking the gravestone on top of the designer series paper, I am just putting this, the designer series paper down last, so that then I can add this right on top. And I just have 1 little piece, so I guess that's all right. So now I'm just going to go around and push these all down so they're nice and secure. And this is what, I'll just go right around so you can see the whole thing. This is what the wreath looks like. Doesn't that look cool? I'm so happy with it already, and I'm not even done yet. Okay, so now we're going to go around and start adding our skeletons. And this is where we can have a lot of fun, because we can pose these now that we have everything down. We are going to, we can have them peeking behind things. We can have, legs in funny positions. So that is what's going to make this part of decorating fun. So let me just get my last little. So I'm going to just start right up here. This is my very first one. So I'm going to start this one right here, and I'm going to have this little guy kind of leaning over this way so his hand is on the tombstone. I'll let you just see that a little closer. Kind of cute. We can have them standing straight up and down, but I thought it would be fun to kind of have them moving around a little bit. So let's go with our next one. I'm going to try to alternate colors so we don't have the same color of skeletons. I cut all of these from the designer series paper, and there are plenty. What I did too, sitting down to make this wreath all at once, it might be a little daunting, but what I did was one afternoon I cut skeletons and the cats and the dogs, and what I did was I ended up, I'm doing some other projects that involve the skeletons and all of that good stuff. So I decided to just do, cut them in one day. So I cut them for both projects that I'm using them on. And then the bats were really easy. You only need 6 bats. So what I did with that, you can cut 3 bats at once with the dies that come with them bones. So that was a super easy die cut. And then I just had to cut all of the tombstones. And that was, pretty quick and easy as well. Okay, let's just be turning this so you can be seeing what I'm seeing as I'm going along with. You can see that I've got 3 of the skeletons on. So I'm just going to keep going around and add the skeletons and have them going and, facing different ways and tilted different ways. It's okay if they go over the edge, the middle part. I'm keeping them down on the banners. So this is the longest part, getting all of these backings to our dimensionals off. So this one's going to go here. There we go. And just keep turning this a little more. This is going to be just so much fun to hang up. So today in my advisory, I brought in enough supplies with last night's project with the test tubes for the kids to make the test tubes. They had a blast doing it. They just got right down to business, and they all were able to finish one. And like I said, they just had so much fun. They were a little disappointed because I pre-stamped things for them, and they really want to do some stamping now. But, when you have 12 kids who are trying to work on a project and you only have one stamp of something, it just really constraints, you got that time constraint. And we just have a half hour for excuse me, advisory. So I wanted to just make sure we had enough time for all of them to get the project done. So that was our big issue. Okay, so our next color, we've got a whole bunch of different colors. Whoops, I've already done that one. I think this is the next one. So once we get these on, the big part of the wreath will be done, and we will be ready to just do the smaller pieces of adding the cats, the dogs, the bats, and then of course some bling. So we're going to add some of our adhesive back gems. Okay. All right. And now we're back for the last three, and we're starting the same colors again. It doesn't have to be, the same alternating. I'm just trying to keep the colors that are the same away from the other colors. So I did put quite a bit of, quite a few dimensionals on this, but I didn't want, especially when this is packed away for next year, I didn't want this to be to get, flat and all of that. And the other thing, I was going to start putting these on ahead of time, but I knew that I was going to have to lay everything out, and I really didn't want to do that. And I knew that I have to put almost everything down, and I didn't want to have the wreath pretty much done except for one last piece to go down. So that's why I chose to do it this way, and I tried to do as much as I could ahead of time so that this isn't a 2-hour video. Okay, we are down to the last two. So here we go with this guy. Oops, I didn't take the backing off. That's why he's not sticking. There we go. And one more. And then we're going to start putting everything else onto the wreath. And there's not much to do after this. Now, if any of your dimensionals kind of become, are showing from behind the designer series paper, if you just take your embossing buddy or any kind of powder and kind of just rub some on, then they won't be sticky any longer. And this is our last little guy. So let's get him on, and we are good to go now. So I want to go back up to my top, and I'm going to bring some of these things out because I'm going to need them now. So here's our eat, drink, and be merry. So I'm going to start with one of our dogs. And so I'm going to put the dogs and cats on. Then we'll put the bats on and some of that. So we're going to have a little dog walking right along that. I'm going to, on this one, add my boo. So I'm just going to get some of my liquid adhesive and just put some dots down. You don't need a lot of the liquid glue. It's going to hold it in place. I'm also going to use the liquid glue on the bats because they're just so tiny. And so our boo is going to go here, and I'm going to have it go a little bit sideways. There we go for that. And then on our next one, we're going to add a cat. So let's add the white cat. And I cut out extras, so if we decide that we need more, I can do that. So we're going to have the cat sitting right here. And then we're going to our next one. And let's see, what do we want here? I think I am going to add another cat. No, a dog. I'm going to add another dog. Let me see what colors I have here. I've got a lot of white, and I already have one that's white, so I'm going to get one that's kind of orange in color. And let me just grab my dimensionals. The dog is easy to add dimensionals to. I'm using 2 large ones and 1 tiny one. There we go. Because I think I want something on every tombstone. And so we'll have our dog just kind of walking there. Then we have our other eat, shriek, and be merry. We have a boo. We're going to come over here, and we have, let's see, we have a cat and a dog left. So we have a cat here. I think we will put a cat right here. And then I'm going to put, at the bottom of bonjour, I'm going to put a dog. Oh my goodness, this is just coming out better than I had imagined. I love it. Okay, so now we have all of our animals added. So let me just bring that around again. So just so you can see each piece of the wreath. What do you think of this so far? Isn't it a lot of fun? Oh, so cool. Okay, we'll go back up to the top here. All right, so now I'm going to add some bats. And so the bats are just going to be kind of all over the place. So I'm going to use my tweezers to hold on to them. And then I will be putting, let me just make sure I'm going on the right side. So I'm just going to be putting a little bit of glue on these, and then I am just going to kind of sprinkle these bats all over the place. Okay, this is the back. So again, you don't need a lot of glue. So we're going to have one bat flying above our dog. There we go. Going to keep moving along. And on the ones that don't get bats, I'm getting my backings of my dimensionals everywhere. For the ones that don't get bats, I am going to be putting gems on. So let's just add that to the tweezer. And we usually do things in 3s. So that's why I cut out 9 of our bats. So on this cat one, I think I'm going to put 2 on. And have one right up here. Okay, we're just going to keep going. I definitely have some dimensionals I'm going to have to take care of. We have another dog here. We're just going to put 1 on this one. So you do need some scraps of black. I don't know if I mentioned that for this. 1 for the boo or whatever saying you want to put on it. And 1 for the bats. So some scraps for both. Alrighty. Okay, we have some more over here for the cat. And then I think we're done. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4. So I like to put things in groups of 3. So we'll put 2 on this one too. And I think that is enough for our bats. Okay, so now let's sprinkle some magic with our gems. They're just up here. Let me grab them. Here they are. Okay, so for this, I can really use anything that I want. So I am going to use silver and black for these. So I'm going to start with, so if it doesn't have a bat, it's going to get some gems. And on this kind of thing, you don't want to skimp because you're putting all of this time and effort into it. So you definitely don't want to just have a couple here and a couple there. You definitely want to put them around so they're evenly spaced. So we'll go to the boo now, and I sometimes, kills me to use my gems because I love them so much. But on a project like this, you really, really want to use them. Okay, so now we're going to come back here, and now I will have, let's say I have 2 with silver. Let's get 2 with black. We've got 2, 5, 8. And I think I'm going to add one more silver one over here. Have a nice groupings of 3. All right, this project is done. So let's just start from the top and we'll go around so you can see all parts of the wreath close up. I'm going to take a picture and post this on my Facebook page of the wreath hanging on the door, so you can see what the whole thing looks like in one picture. And that is our last project for our 12 days of Halloween. Like I said, we were going out with a bang, and here we are with our bang. I hope you've enjoyed all 12 days of our projects, and I particularly hope you enjoyed our wreath tonight. And I hope you are going to still join me for Fun Fold Friday nights at 6, Simply Stamping Sunday nights at 7. And if you are interested, starting November 7th, which is a Tuesday, I will be sharing for 4 weeks Christmas Made Easy, and it will be on each Tuesday night of the month. And then we will be coming back for the 12 days of Christmas at the beginning of the month in December. So thank you very much. Make sure you say hi in the comments. Tell me what you think of this project. And please continue to join me here on Facebook and on my YouTube channel. It Begins with Ink and Paper. Don't forget to like my page, follow my page, and subscribe to my channel. Good night, everyone. Have a happy Halloween.